So Mars, what na? Do you want to talk about everything and anything under the sun? Listen to our fellow Pinoy stories or just catch up? Big kwento?
Why not? Here at Mars What Na Podcast, everything is free-flowing, like the alcohol that we may or may not be drinking.
You've got your Kumars Michelle and
Bethany, here finding what makes us distinctly Pinoy, our similarities, our differences.
covering the topics about Pinoy experience from the motherland and abroad.
Catch us on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Kita Kits!
If you like this episode, please rate the podcast 5 stars 6 and take it home. This podcast is a member of Bun Collective.
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTV Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Let's do this. It's Friday. And you know what that means. Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. This is the MT Show Podcast, a wrestling podcast. Ayun, so kung hindi kayo sanay sa timpla ko kahapon, kasi medyo medyo ano 'to, magandang development kasi pag-usapan yung nangyari sa AEW. Especially with the Tony Khan, CM Punk, Young Bucks, Hangman situation. And excluded na siguro yun. Hindi natin ganang pag-uusapan dito sa episode na ito. Kasi lahat ng nangyari sa AEW halos na pag-usapan na natin kahapon. So hindi na natin sila gaanong i-cover for today's episode of the podcast. So kung gusto niyo naman papag-usapan natin yung nangyari sa AEW, you can join our discussion doon sa ating episode 124. At naka-available naman yun sa Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and to the rest of the podcast platforms. Ngayon naman, ang ating agenda ay itong NXT Worlds Collide. At of course, itong Clash at the Castle pay-per-view and premium live event. So, ito, syempre, magre-review tayo ng event na ito. Sabi ko sa inyo, kalmado ako ngayon kasi hindi naman gaanong nakaka-stress itong dalawang pay-per-views na ito. Unlike those happenings na nangyari sa AEW few days ago, hindi ko maseryoso and hindi rin tayo makapag-isip ng proper kung paano natin ipa-proper execution, kung paano tayo mag-execute on the whole episode. Buti na lang ngayon, seryoso tayo. And kahit pa paano naman, mas maganda yung magiging product natin for this episode. Ayun, so before we start this episode, to formal to. Wala akong bias dito, okay? So, nagkataon lang na mas maraming development sa AEW. Hindi ko kaya magpahaba-haba ngayon sa talks na yun. So, hindi ako biased dito, okay? So, let's continue with our regular plug stuff. So, please follow the podcast on social media, of course, at the MT Show Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Just search the MT Show Podcast. Of course, syempre, please follow us on social media. Importante yan kasi nag-upload tayo ng updates, ng stuff for our episodes sa podcast. And syempre, you can donate and support the podcast on ganknow.com/the MTG Show Podcast. As low as $1 a month, you can access to our subscriber-only content. Plus, you can join our discussion and more to come really, really soon. For more podcasts, visit thebunkph.com. You can support the collective on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course on TikTok at thebunkph and on ganknow.com/thebunkph. Ayun, itong podcast available to on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and the rest of the podcast platforms and on the podcast app. And syempre, ayun. Yan lang. So, let's start with the major parts of the weekend. Then, ano muna natin to? Pagsama-samahan muna natin itong ball before Clash at the Castle. Tanggalin ko ng assistant kasi wala akong marinig. Okay, let's start with the news sa SmackDown before Clash at the Castle. So, we got a Viking rules match. So, it's the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. It was a really, really good match for me. Sobrang sobrang contrast niya. Nag-make sense sa dun sa characters ng Viking Raiders. And of course, Viking Raiders getting the win. It makes sense. To the point na Vikings needs the SmackDown titles or the World titles maybe soon. Makalaban nila after ng kina Owens and Sami Zayn pag may panahon. Kasi binibuild pa nila yung storyline na yun. So, yeah. Ayun, so it was a really good match. Hindi naman siya umabot sa New Day, Usos, Hell in a Cell levels. Pero it was a really good match that we should watch right now. Then, fall pa ng SmackDown. So, nagkaroon ng final hatol kay Ronda Rousey. So, background, wala akong pakialam. So, yun, si Adam Pearce lumabas backstage. And, ayun, parang kinagalitan niya si Ronda Rousey. And, yun na nga, nagkaroon ng promo. And the rest is history. I don't give a fuck. parang ito na yung slow turn ni Adam Pearce as a heel. Anong tawag dito? Heel authority figure. Then, ayun na medyo binibuild na nila yung match. Maybe a triple threat, Crown Jewel, o kaya Extreme Rules. Maybe they're building up yung SmackDown Women's Title, triple threat rules. Saan pa natin may build pa naman. Then, we got JBL saving Happy Corbin from ano ba yung nilook forward ko dito? Actually, parang babalik na si Corbin sa kanyang pagiging mayaman or sorts. O maybe sasamahan siya ni JBL para medyo bumalik na sa dati yung kanyang vibe. Kasi ngayon, 'di ba, parang low down spiral na ulit siya. So yun, parang ganun yung gagawin sa kanya. Hindi naman makakabago yun, no? Hindi naman. we love Happy Corbin here in the podcast. We appreciate him. Although, hindi ko ma-appreciate yung booking niya right. Okay. Tapos, last na, yung Butch versus Ludwig Kaiser was a really good match sa Raw. SmackDown. Then, ayun lang. Tsaka I'm glad to see Butch wearing his Pit Dunne gear from the past. So, yan. Medyo nakakatuwa naman. Ayun. Let's start with the Clash at the Castle. So, it was a small card, 6 matches. 7 pala kasi may kick-off. Ayun. So, medyo nakakatuwa kasi limited yung time. Tapos 6 matches ito. And then medyo nabigyan sila ng tamang time. Almost 4 hours ito. Buti nga ito yung 4 hours na binigyan nila ng importance. Ultimo yung kay Liv Morgan. It was a really good match. I swear. Even the match of Liv Morgan, it was a great match na syempre mamaya natin i-discuss sa half na to ng podcast. So, let's start with the six-woman tag. So, itong six-woman tag, Bailey, to Damage Control, basically Bailey, Dakota, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. So, basically, ito yung match na banger for a good opener ng Clash at the Castle. Sobrang over ng crowd na to kay Bailey. I love it. Tapos umaabot pa sa point na parang mas gusto ko nang matapos agad yung laban. It's kinda boring nung una. Pero habang tumatagal yung match, lumalabas yung pagiging kuwela nun anim. Kumbaga, tsaka yung pagkakasundo-sundo nila. It's so good to see both of them just fighting like parang cats and dogs. And everyone loved the match. Okay? So it was a great match. Ang complain ko lang, what's next for the two? Alexa and Asuka. Ano kaya yung susunod sa kanila? Kasi malamang sa malamang, we're going to get Bianca versus Bailey probably for Extreme Rules. Then, si Io tsaka si Dakota, probably next week, World Women's Champion na yan. Then, Sasha and Naomi, magre-return yan. Probably lang naman. Kasi di pa natin sure if babalik talaga yung dalawa. Diba? And, dagdag pa natin na sobrang transition ng women's title run ni nila Raquel at ni Aliyah. Tangin na dami ko slip ups it was a really good match to open Clash at the Castle. And medyo concerned lang talaga ako doon sa dalawa. And parang win lang to for Bailey. How about the two? Ewan ko kung mananalo pa din sila Io Sky. We're not sure yet. Pero probably hindi. Ayun, next match is the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus versus Gunter. Sobrang over ng crowd na to kay Sheamus as in. Kahit pareha silang taga UK, kay Sheamus pumanig yung crowd. So it was a really, really good match. If you want a smug fest, ito yung yung big man slapping meat talaga na vibe. And it wasn't close sa ibang matches ng All Out. This match alone slayed all of the matches ng All Out. Argument-wise, mas better to kina Ishii at saka kay Eddie Kingston. And argument-wise, mas maganda rin to doon sa Pick of the Week ko from All Out, yung Swerve in Our Glory, tsaka Acclaim. Argument-wise, mas okay to. Itong isang match na to, mas maganda na to sa buong card ng All Out. Or even the NXT Worlds Collide match nila Ricochet tsaka Melo. Mas maganda na yun kaysa buong All Out. And it wasn't close. Diba kung sa tingin nyo magpapatawa ako, hindi ako nagpapatawa. And ito, parang they deserve the vibe, they deserve the respect that they're looking for. And after 1.5 year of not defending the Intercontinental Championship, parang ang laki ng ang laki na ng gap to give for them And it wasn't close sa iba pang matches from All Out. And even the whole card of this whole weekend, they slayed the match. I love how they ended. And hindi rin to monkey wrestling. Kung nagtatanong kayo kung ito yung monkey wrestling, of course it wasn't monkey wrestling. And it was a really good match. I swear. It was a really good match. Then, move on tayo. So we got the SmackDown Women's Championship. Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey. Shayna Baszler versus Liv Morgan. I have two complaints here. So, Liv ako dito, yes. Pero, parang ang linis naman ang panalo ni Liv. parang hindi ito si Liv. I know they're giving chance kay Liv Morgan kasi 'di ba ano, they are pushing her as the star of the current era. Pero parang ano eh, parang ang lame na nung run. Parang yung sympathetic Liv Morgan, it doesn't work anymore here. Parang mas marami pa rin akong ano, dibs kay Shayna. Pero regardless on the match alone, it was a good match. Hindi ko in-expect na magiging maganda to. Pero wala. They give us a really good match. Si Liv, parang ito na yung naging favorite match ko ni Liv so far. And it wasn't. Ito yung ano, parang second to the best match of the women ko. Kasi yung una ko is what it was from NXT Worlds Collide. Ang may pag-usapan natin. Itong ano, SmackDown Women's Title, really good match. If you want to watch it, watch it. Okay. So, next is Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Judgment Day. 2 questions. 1, hindi pala question actually. Magbibigay ako ng dalawang good things about this match. Number 1, I know na hindi mananalo ang Judgment Day dito. Pero parang sila pa yung nanalo. Parang sila pa yung nanalo kasi nag-gain nila yung main purpose simula nung maakit nila si Dominic. So, they got Dominic Mysterio per this week's Raw. And on that way, so si Dominic, he turned on Edge and his father, Rey Mysterio, after of the match. After helping them, ano ito eh, parang incident. Tinulungan niya yung dalawa manalo. Then, suddenly, Edge turned on, Mysterio turned on Edge, then on his father. Sayang nga, wala yung promo na nakaupo si Dominic sana. Still care. I want to see that stuff probably, but pagka solo feud na sila. Pero let's see. Tapos, the match, okay naman. Sobrang fun lang. Sobrang wholesome lang talaga nung ending ni Dominic. At saka, syempre, yung Edge, yung UK crowd, ito talaga sabihin ko sa inyo, UK crowd definitely one of the best crowds that I have seen in professional wrestling. I swear, no one can close to the UK crowd. UK crowd. Sobrang ganda nung ano, sobrang ganda nung vibe during Edge entrance. Sobra. And sobrang nagustuhan ko yung entrance. Although I have complaints here. Number 1, ba't wala kayang pyro? Para sa akin, hindi kumpleto yung entrance ni Edge if walang pyro. Hindi natin alam kung bakit wala. Kasi hindi naman na-detalye about sa SRS, hindi rin na-detalye kung bakit walang pyro. Hindi naman sinabi na bawal daw mag-pyro sa Principality Stadium. Baka sa transportation. Diba? Yun. Then, we got Seth Rollins versus Riddle. Kung paano nag-umpisa yung feud, sobrang linis. Eto, sobrang linis din. Pero may bitin, parang kinalat pa nila. Nilagyan nila ng kalat. Para sa next pay-per-view, may malilinis silang kalat na sa tingin natin, hindi nila nalinis nung Crash at the Castle. So, ganun yung nangyari. It was a really good match. Parang, ang dating sa akin, hindi pa matatapos ito probably by the pay-per-view next Extreme Rules. Kasi parang ito yung feud na tatagal ng 3 events. Probably nga Crown Jewel, di pa tapos to. Pero, I swear to God, this is one of the best matches ni Riddle na nakita ko. Putang ina. Ito yung sa tingin ko one of the best matches ni Riddle for a very long time since his NXT run. And hindi siya nagkuklose dun sa mga matches niya recently. I swear. Pero yung ending, parang slice on the cake na rin siya, parang panapos na lang yon. Magko-compete pa sila in a pay-per-view match or premium live event match for sure. And let's see kung ano pa yung pwede natin maasahan on the next premium live event. So yeah. Then, main event. Question. Ito ba yung inaasahan yung outcome on this main event between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre? For me, it wasn't. Hindi siya nagko-close. Number one, bakit? Kasi sobrang ganda ng booking nila kay Drew. Like, parang believable threat na siya kay Roman Reigns para ma-dethrone siya as Universal World Champion. Parang sobrang believable niya talaga na sa tingin ko siya na yung makakatalo kay Roman. Pero, no. Hindi yun nangyari. Hindi nakabiyahe ang Usos. Hindi rin nakabiyahe si Sami Zayn. So, he got another Us na nag-save sa kanyang title run, which is the debuting Solo Sikoa. Speaking of Imperium, nagbalik din palang Imperium ng IC title. So, Giovanni Vinci made his main roster debut din. Nakalimutan ko kanina. So, yun, si Solo Sikoa, he made his NXT main roster debut on this episode by saving Roman Reigns from the Claymore kick pin ni Drew McIntyre, and he finished the match with his spear. And hindi ito yung ina-expect natin na main event. Parang ito yung main event na sa tingin ko para lang humaba pa yung ring. And the funnier thing here is, kung hindi naman magde-defend si Roman for the next 2 pay-per-views or 1 pay-per-view, which is Extreme Rules, bakit hindi pa nila binigay kay Drew yung world title? Parang unfair na sa akin. Si Roman taking vacations, taking limited schedule, tas hanggang WrestleMania 39 pa yun. Like, putang ina, what the hell is going on here? Roman holding hostage here is too much. And everyone doesn't love that shit. I swear to God. God damn. We don't love how they treat Roman Reigns anymore. Parang sawa na sila. And they want a new flavor. Dami na naman new flavor sa WWE ngayon. Like, there's Karrion Kross, there's Drew McIntyre, even Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Kahit si Austin Theory, sige, sali na natin. Speaking of Austin Theory, so magka-cash in sana siya sa Clash at the Castle. Kaso, ni-knock out siya ni Tyson Fury. So, yun, sobrang angas nung run-in niya dyan. Parang ang bilis ng pangyayari. He-knock him out immediately. Na magka-cash in na siya. Parang ang ganda ng spot na yun for him to knock him out. Then, thank you for... ang awkward dito, ang isa pang awkward part ng shit na to. Si Tyson Fury at si Drew McIntyre, they sang a song in the ring. Ito dapat feed lang to for the UK crowd. Pero, they played this crap pati doon sa Peacock and USA, o kaya doon sa BT Sport, o kaya doon sa WWE Network feed that we have. Tinapos nila yon, pati yung pagkanta. And sobrang, it's either impressive, kaya good thing, para makauwi pa rin na masaya yung crowd despite the decision. Pero regardless, it's a good match. And hindi ko mapagkakailan na we love and we're glad to see WWE in the UK once again. And yeah, it was a good match. And yeah, that's it for our Clash at the Castle review. And wala naman akong ganong big complaints. The only complaint that I have is I think medyo masaya ako kasi nagkaroon din ng event sa UK for the UK fans, mainly for UK fans. I'm glad there's a TV deal na ginamit nila for this event. And sana naman maganda yung susunod na mangyari. Sana nga yearly na to eh. Sana nga yearly na mangyari itong type of pay-per-views or event sa UK. No? Para sa akin lang, sana yearly na siya mangyari para kahit pa paano. And bawasan nila yung stadium sa US, stadium events sa US. Kasi we don't need a lot of stadium events. Speaking of stadium events, before we go to our scores and the commercial break, yung Royal Rumble was announced January 29, PDP time, sa Alamo Dome, sa San Antonio, Texas. We're going to get that long shit ass stage ramp again. Ayun, so the last time Royal Rumble took place sa Alamo Dome was 2017 when Randy Orton won his second Royal Rumble and John Cena won his won his 16th reign as WWE champion. So yeah. Ayun, scores. Let's talk about scores for Clash at the Castle. 6-woman tag is 3 over 5. The Intercontinental was 5.5 over 5. The SmackDown Women's is 3. Edge and Ray 4. The Seth Rollins and Riddle 4. The Roman Drew is 3.5. Okay. So we're going to take a commercial break. Before that, let me remind you, today is 9/9. If you want to support the podcast on Lazada, lahat ng bagay you can buy it on Lazada. Please support the podcast using my link on the description below o kaya yung affiliate link ko na podlink.co/6gs. Again, malaking tulong yan here on the podcast without no extra cost. And we're going to take our first commercial break. Let's check our bunkmates here on Bunk Collective.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
I can't. I'm sick.
Weh, yung tataa.
Boo, you whore. Di-lockdown pa rin.
Huh? 2021 na.
So, anong gagawin natin?
Eh di, magstay na lang sa house at makinig sa Astrology, the podcast. With new episodes every Tuesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
I loved you then, I love you now, and I will continue loving you until I can no longer.
You took a part of me until I had nothing left.
The old me had to die so the new me could be reborn.
I didn't deserve that pain. I deserve love, just not from her.
Today, I choose myself.
I wanted to tell you, but you weren't there.
These are the stories that I wish you heard. Streaming weekly episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
Ayan, so welcome back to the show. Let's do the NXT Worlds Collide review, then yung post-Raw and NXT. Ayun, NXT Worlds Collide. Ang problema ko lang dito, bakit madaling araw siya nangyari? Siguro nag-adjust sila for All Out. Idiwasan nila yung All Out. So, yan lang. One of the bigger reasons why they took this afternoon in the US. Tapos 1 a.m. sa India. Sa US. Ay, sa Pilipinas. Alas 4 ng umaga. Like, holy shit. Hindi ako sanay. Okay. Let's do this. We got first match. Huwag muna tayo first match. Let's talk about the main event. So, Braun Breaker defeated Tyler Bate in a fantastic main event. One of the best matches ng 2.0 definitely. Ang problem, ito yung definitely best of the match ni Tyler sa NXT 2.0. And I think this is the best Braun Breaker match that I've seen. Kasi wala, hit or miss kasi siya eh. So, definitely this is the best Braun Breaker match na nakita ko so far. And ang complaint ko lang dito, wrong winner. It should be Tyler Bate talaga. Pero, yun. Si Braun kasi talaga yung binibreed nila na main star for NXT 2.0. So, it makes sense na si Braun talaga yung makaka-unify ng NXT at NXT UK titles. So, yun. Then, let's talk about the women's tag team titles. So, the women's tag team titles, Nikki and Doudrop versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. It wasn't a bad match. Hindi siya bad match. Ang problema ko lang with this is parang parang ang execution nito. Sa tingin ko mas maganda to kung ito yung naging opener. Parang ang eyesore niya sa akin. Pero regardless, yung pagpasok ng Toxic Attraction, parang on the spot siya. Knowing na both of them are at this point, both of them are baby faces. Yung Toxic Attraction, heels. No? So, the interruption of Toxic Attraction, basically, yun lang ang naging ending ng match. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Pero hindi ako nag-expect masyado. It's a good match regardless. Then, the women's title. So, it's a triple threat between Mandy Rose, si Blair Davenport, at saka si Meiko Satomura. Tita Meiko. So, ito yung match na you should watch from the women's side over the NXT weekend. Dito, I swear. Si Mandy Rose, na akala nyo hindi kaya makasabay sa dalawang yon, nakasabay siya dito. And sobrang impressive ni Mandy Rose dito. No bias. I swear, this is definitely one of the best Mandy Rose performances since she transferred to NXT. Wow. Wow. Wala akong masabi. Parang you gave us Charlotte Flair in Mandy Rose, pero hindi naman pumupunto na Charlotte Flair talaga. Pero parang ang impressive ng run na to ni Mandy Rose. Sana lang makahanap na kayo ng contender para mapagtrapad. And Toxic Attraction is main roster ready talaga kung tatanungin nyo. So, regardless, kasi naman pagdadrapan dapat si Nikita talaga. And Mandy Rose and Meiko Satomura, they should meet at least one-on-one. I swear, hindi ko ma-regret yun in my entire life. Andun lang naman si Blair for the pin. Obviously, yun lang naman ang reason niya dyan. So, yun lang. It was a great match. Akalain mo yun na akala ng iba hindi makakasabay si Mandy Rose. Pero sobrang nakasabay siya doon sa two of the best UK wrestlers, especially Meiko, na sobrang legend na nito sa scene. And it was a great match. Okay, so we have the tag title elimination tournament match. So it's Briggs and Jensen first elimination, then Gallows, tapos Creed Brothers. Yung ending of the match is basically si Damon Kemp of Diamond Mine. He attacked one of the members of Diamond Mine with a steel chair. Then, ayun. So, ewan ko in-explain nila sa TV. Parang I think hindi nila gano'n na-explain mabuti on why he turned on both of them. Parang hindi siya na-explain ng mabuti. But yeah, parang na-obserbahan ko, di siya na-explain ng mabuti sa TV, Tignan natin kung di ko siya gano'n napanood. Pero, sana na-explain nila ng mabuti why Damon Kemp turned on both of them. So, yeah. Yun lang naman complain ko. Yeah. So, okay naman ako with the Pretty Deadly. Sana transitional lang to. Kaso Pretty Deadly na naman ang putek. I'm okay with this, pero mas okay sana kung Gallows ang nanalo. Feeling ko next week Gallows will win. Next week. Then, ayun, first match. Carmelo Hayes and Ricochet for the North American title. Man, I swear to God, this is the best Carmelo Hayes match and definitely one of the best performance ni Ricochet, man. It was a really, really, really good match. Man, kung may monkey wrestling ng AEW, may monkey wrestling din ng NXT. But sobrang limited. Hindi siya yung every match, every spot, magmamangki ka, no? Ito yung balance na monkey wrestling. If you're looking for a proper monkey wrestling, ito yung monkey wrestling na para sa'yo. And it was a really good match, I swear. Parang ang ganda ng spot. And to see Melo and Ricochet na magka-match sa ring, I swear the stars are big for both of them, especially Melo. Si Melo, pag nag-main roster yan, I swear, ang laki ng future nito with the main roster. Trust me. Lalo si Triple H ang creative. Man, laki ng future ni Melo dito, I swear. Let's see. Ayun, yun lang naman ang thoughts ko for NXT Worlds Collide. If you have your own thoughts about NXT Worlds Collide, please know us on social media at the MTG Show Pod o kaya sa social media ng The Bang PH, The Bang Collective. Yan lang naman for NXT Worlds Collide. So, Fallout and yun, Fallout ng Worlds Collide tsaka Raw, Clash of the Castle Fallout. Sa third half na yun, third half of the podcast. So, natatawa ako bigla. So, yun. So, yung mga bagay that you have and you can buy on Shopee since today is 9/9 sale sa Shopee. So, you please use my affiliate link sa Shopee, podlink.co/BHX. Again, that's podlink.co/BHX. So, yun, we're going to take a commercial break, then Raw and NXT tayo. Then basically picks up the week and mag-extra tayo on the third half of the podcast. But for now, let's check our bunkmates here on Bunk Collective.
Hirap na po kaming mag-anak. Tambak po ang labahin, wala pong lutong ulam, ang dumi-dumi po ng bahay. Ang mga anak po namin 3 araw na pong walang ligo. Hindi ko po siya makausap na ng maayos. Wala po siyang ginawa kundi makinig ng podcast. Yung po bang The Balut Kiki Project? Kung saan po siya nakikinig, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Podchaser. Maya't maya po bigla na lang pong tatawa, bigla na lang pong iiyak habang nakikinig. Ano po bang meron sa podcast na yan? Ano po bang meron sa The Balut Kiki Project podcast na yan?
The Balut Kiki Project. Batteries not included.
Naguulat mula sa shore na kasing pretty ko.
Bringing you the latest and greatest.
And diving deep into the cool waters.
Of BLs and GLs.
And every kind of love there is.
We are the Shippers.
Sail with us as we watch our favorite queer love stories.
And update you about the latest every week.
Kaya tara, sakay na as we sail the open seas.
With new episodes Mondays and Wednesdays on all major podcast streaming platforms.
Sakay na you. Let's go.
Ayun. So, welcome back to the show. Na-realize ko may scoring pala tayo for Worlds Collide. May score pala tayo for the Worlds Collide event. So, score na natin. North American title, 5/5. The tag and the women's 4-5. The women's tag is 3. The NXT championship is 4. Let's go to the fallout of Raw. First, Clash of the Castle fallout. So, Dominic Mysterio joined Judgment Day. So, thoughts on that? Para sa akin, wala naman akong complain kasi amuhin ka ba naman ni Rhea Ripley ng sagad? For the past few weeks, parang si Rhea Ripley talaga yung purpose mo to join the Judgment Day. Hindi ka ba naman anuhin dyan ni Rhea Ripley? Malamang sasali ka din. It wasn't. And it makes sense kasi since they're feuding with the Mysterios and Edge, it makes sense na si Dominic yung magiging weak link on them. Then the attacker as well. So it makes sense. All of the dots make sense para sa akin. Yun, so good. Then Braun Strowman made his return after almost a year. No, tama ba? 1 year of absence after his release. At saka syempre yung control your narrative. Okay naman. Medyo hindi lang ako talaga fan nito pero I'm glad to see him back. And para magkaroon ulit ng gap doon sa nawalang gap, especially with the big guys in the company. So I'm glad that Braun Strowman made his return to save this scumbag company from that. Ayun, so also Austin Theory and Ciampa, they got their first names back as far as today's Raw is concerned. Austin Theory is back and Tommaso Ciampa is back as well. Yun. So it's impressive. Parang nire-restore na ni Triple H yung mga katarantaduhan ni Vince McMahon sa names. Si Gunter, wala naman kailangan i-restore kay Gunter. Gunter name is fine for me. Para sa akin lang, the Gunter name is fine. So, dagdag pa natin, mag-recommend tayo ng match from Raw. So, Theory versus Owens. It was a really, really good match. Then, Lashley Miz. Yun, sobrang okay lang. Thanks to Dexter Lumis. Ang ganda ng spot doon ni Dexter Lumis eh. Sobrang sobrang impressive niya. Oo. Sobrang impressive ng appearance na yun. And yeah. Ayan. NXT 2.0. Let's go. Fallout of Worlds Collide. First, so Meiko versus Roxanne Perez. Man. That was a masterpiece. If you want to watch wrestling and that day, man, you should watch this shit. Trust me, man, hindi nyo ma-regret. Kailangan yung panoorin to. Meiko versus Roxanne Perez. Good match. Worth it. Kung YouTube kayo nanonood, sobrang bitin to sa inyo. Trust me, it was a good match. Sobra. Parang naging clinic na siya for Roxanne. Pero, sobrang pressure nito from NXT. Yung mga nagsasabi na bulok ng 2.0, those two says otherwise. And it was a really good match for that week's episode of NXT. Then, ito pa, isa pa. So, Nathan Frazer versus Axiom from 2.0. Sobrang ganda rin ito. I swear. I really, really love this friendly competition between these two. Ewan ko kung kailan yung susunod na match pero hindi nila yun official for next week kasi anniversary episode yun ng 2.0. Hindi nila yun official. So, yan. It's a good match. Axiom gets the first win here. Tama ba? Si Axiom yung nanalo. Then, ayan. It was a good match. So, ito, nagre-recommend lang ako, Meiko Roxanne Perez. You should watch this match. Hindi nyo ma-regret yun. I swear to God. Okay? So, extra na tayo. So, it's time for our extra. Picks of the week pala. Picks of the week. Yung moment of the week ko, it's very obvious. It should be Mandy Rose. Kasi, for me, siya yung nag-rise talaga to the occasion from this weekend. Honorable mention, pwede ko sabihin na Bailey at saka Tony Storm. Pero parang mas important for me yung panalo ni Mandy. Kasi it was a good match. Then, matches of the week. Ang dami nito. So, we have the Sheamus Gunter, Clash at the Castle, Ricochet Melo from Worlds Collide, Ishii Kingston, and yung Swerve in Our Glory from All Out. Tsaka this week, di pa ako pwede mag-recommend ngayon eh. Pero re-recommend ko talaga Roxanne Perez versus Tita Meiko from NXT 2.0. And our superstar of the week is Sheamus. Definitely, man. Thank you, Sheamus. It was a good match. Hindi matatapos dito yung goal mo for to become your Intercontinental Champion. I swear, dito matatapos to. Okay? So, that's it for our podcast this week. Don't worry, next week magbabalik na ako in one episode kasi tapos na ang Road to Fate. Tapos na din probably on that week yung pay-per-view preach natin. Kasi ginawa lang naman natin ang ganito kasi there's a lot of things going on Road to Fate this Sunday. Then yung nangyaring all-out disaster, di natin kaya na in one part. So ginawa ko na lang siya in two-parters. So yeah. So yun. Before we go, so let's promote MWF. So malapit na po ang MWF Road to Fate. 2 days na lang. Sa Sunday na po yan gaganapin. September 11. For the first time in 2 years, we're going to crown a Philippine wrestling champion. So we're going to have a main event for the MWF Championship. It's a 4-way elimination match. Jake De Leon, our guest recently. If you missed our episode, please check out. Then, Crystal, si Nigel San Jose, naging guest din natin yan. Please check our interview on this platform. And Fabio Makisig, that's a fatal 4-way match for the MWF Championship. Sobrang big ng card for the MWF Road to Fate. If you want to watch Road to Fate, I swear, hindi nyo mariregret. Pero syempre, sa mga hindi makakapanood ng Road to Fate, available naman siya on ganknow.com/Manila Wrestling Fed. And yung visit na lang sila sa link sa gankmanilawrestling.com and please support. Then sa World Underground Wrestling, excuse me, iparating din silang event on October. So please support their event invasion sa World Underground Wrestling. Then, on our podcast, please support the podcast on social media at the MTG Show Pod. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Just search the MTG Show Podcast. You can now donate and subscribe to support the podcast on ganknow.com/the MTG Show Pod. As low as $1 a month, you can access to our subscriber-only content. Plus, you can join our discussions and more to come really soon. For more podcasts, visit thebunkph.com. You can support the collective on social media at the Bunk PH. This podcast is a Bunk Collective podcast. So, please support us on those platforms. As well on ganknow.com/thebunkph. Nag-post ako dun. Then, ayun, to podcast na to available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and the rest of the podcast platforms. And on the podcast app, all of the podcast links is available on our linktr, linktr.ee/the MTG Show Podcast. And let's join our Discord community, dsc.gg/this, dsc.gg/bunk. Yan. And please follow me on social media at AG Pinera on Twitter and Instagram. So yun, that's it for our two-parter all-out Labor Day weekend. See you on the next Media Scrim. Ayun, so in cooperation with Bunk Collective, stay safe, stay reso. See you on the next episode of the MPA Show Podcast in cooperation with Bunk Collective. Yeah, we're out. Bye-bye.